feedback, from you all. Again, if we go with the same system that's been done before, they'll have the same problems. Sacric, so you're going to differentiate rewards based on how many people took a tower with 5 or 50. Will the system remember it's harder for small numbers? Will that be taken into account? Yeah, we certainly hope so. I mean, um, that's part of the plan. Spike Druid, is progression siloed, or can any class progress by doing any action? Um, well, certainly it would kind of violate, I don't want to say the FPs for this game, but the nature of the game. If you could level up your your spell ability by picking posies. But will you get rewards? Are rewards siloed in the sense of, well, if you cast magic, you will get whatever increase in your magical ability you would get from using it, and then you get X reward from the king. No, it's not going to be siloed that way. Yes, you swing a sword, your strength goes up. There you go. But the rewards you're going to get for the king are really going to depend on everything else you did and what happened in the realm. Question from Aranuk. Do you think you're alienating the power gamers? So that's a great question. It really revolves around what they're looking for. If they're looking for the quickest way to get to level 50, or to get their abilities to whatever they want them to be, in some ways, yeah, this doesn't reward them. On the other hand, and this is where it's really important and why I think the system works. Those same power gamers are going to be focused on doing a lot of things for your realm, right? Because that's going to be the best way to do, to get the rewards that matter to them. To being the most, if it's a guild of power gamers, of having the best guild house, or of having some of the most powerful people, or of getting other rewards of land and gifts from their king. So I don't think we're punishing them in that way. If anything, they're going to take some extra incentive, and not just, hey, hit level cap, thanks, bye. Oh, great question from Burfo. Can I take a specific Realm News article, frame it, and hang it in my guild house? Actually, haven't thought about it. Great idea. Yeah, we should be able to do that. I think that's awesome. Make sure you send that in to us. I want to remember it. Tordor, this isn't a game to beat. It's an ongoing war. You got it. He's, I think you may be alienating everyone. I don't know, guys. Why don't you tell He's here how many of you I've really alienated? Because I asked you before and you overwhelmingly said yes. So tell Mr. He's or Ms. He's how many people we have alienated. Not seeing a lot of alienation here right now. Hmm. Guess I haven't alienated everybody yet. Wolfram, my pet ant, feels like that. Ah. I was like, Claudia, no double frost yet. Sorry. We'll see what we can do. Bono, any cinematic for the mass on in development? I kind of know. This goes, and by the way, thank you for asking. Um, I've said not getting on the hype train, and over on Massively, um, person questioned whether what we're doing here, and then I've already responded, and I think it's all good. Whether these presentations are the hype train. They're not. If anything, it's less hype because I'm being very clear right from the beginning that these are difficult ideas, that some of them may not work. I'm not sitting here, with sunglasses saying how awesome everything is going to be, how amazing it's going to be. What I'm saying here to you folks who are our backers, to the guys and gals who continue to support our game, and I don't mean monetarily. That's always appreciated, but you've got guys like Tealis who write blogs about us. You've got everyone in the forum, so many of these names who take time out of their day to talk to us. And, that's what I mean by support. And so if I didn't want your guys' input, if I was just trying to hype this stuff, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be talking about it on the forums. It's because you guys are backing us. It's because you guys have donated to us that we want to talk to you about these ideas and to get feedback from you on them, now, and not for the hype. And as you guys have seen, we haven't done any of those, contests of, hey, you can get twice the founders points, guys, if you donate now. And hey, let's get that ticker down some. That's not what we're about. That's not what we're doing here. So, nothing that, at least I hope, even approaches levels of hype. Rami, hi. Isn't there a risk that everyone wants to play on the same side as the Uber guilds? I don't think any different than any other game. If you look at Dark Age, for example, if people knew that one server had, the advantages in terms of numbers or the most effective guilds, then a lot of people might, go over to that server because they don't want to have to fight these guys. And they think they'll be able to whether it's get into the Zerg or simply go out and win more. So I think no matter what system we have, we run the risk of that sort of behavior happening. On the other hand, by saying that, yes, you're an underpopulated realm, and that we're going to be giving you all these rewards, or you're going to be giving you all sorts of things that will be useful in the game, and not just a buff bonus, that we think other people will be happy to say, you know what, I'll take a chance on this. And one example I used was, as always, it seems, from the old Ale Warrior game by the wonderful folks at Kesmai, where I loved playing on the underpopulated realm, the three countries, A, B, and C. And I loved playing on the one that had the lowest population at times, because that just meant there were more targets, and I could get killed very often. On the other hand, I tended to rack up a lot more kills. So in this system, the folks who are on the underpopulated realms may find more things, rewarded for their king, or that they do will be rewarded by their king. And maybe because of that, they'll actually get some things faster than the folks on the overpopulated realms. Action Pigeon, good question about the meta being a big driving force in misconceptions. If mining is better than everything else, everyone mine, nobody do anything else. If you do not, you're not helping the realm. Yeah, that could absolutely be a problem. Like I said about this idea, it's not a solution for every problem in the game or any game. There is no system like that, and it just will always exist, unfortunately. But we do think it does allow us to solve some of the problems. We'll see if it works better. And as always, folks, as always, if this doesn't work, I'm not going to, drag my heels or, or throw down, an anchor and say, no, this is the way we're going to do it, and I don't care what anyone says or anyone wants. Not the way I like to do things. Before we started the studio, Andrew and I, had some, pretty deep talks about philosophy and, of how to run a studio and development. And, one of his favorite expressions, and I've used this story before, is fail early, fail cheaply. That's why we're telling you folks this. There's a lot of design to be done before any coding is done on some of these systems. And now's the time to give us feedback. Now the time for us to talk about it, because I want to try this stuff now, and if it doesn't work, we'll try something else. It's not about implementing only my ideas or any of the ideas from the folks here. It's not an agenda that has to be followed. It's about making a great game. So, again, folks, if this doesn't work, we'll try something else. Authoring, will Realm progress? Absolutely. Mr. Bill, are you planning on putting these totally insane ideas in as early as possible? Yeah, when we can. I mean, it's kind of hard to put some like this progression idea in too early. Other things like the magic system, as Brian already told you, we're already working on it. Beards on Fire, have you guys done any research to what you think will be the lowest populated realms? It would actually be pointless right now, simply because the realms aren't fleshed out enough. So whatever data we got and said, well, this is how it's going to be, wouldn't be useful. It would end up being a waste of our time. But your point is actually correct, that we have to do a lot of research and look at that as we go forward, which is one of the reasons, as I said during our Kickstarter, that we're going to try to put out a lot more race concepts than we'll actually have at launch, so we can get feedback from people. Nanoax, in the beginning I played a huge amount one night. Is it possible that the next day I have gained more than one level in a single skill? That's a more complicated answer than it might appear, but yeah, if you had an awesome night going out there and fighting things much tougher than you, and you had some great die rolls as well, and you just got a lot accomplished, could you really progress a lot? Yeah, absolutely. Of course you could. Again, this is not about trying to minimize what people do in a night. Far from it. It is trying to come up with a system that rewards people, not punishes people. From RM Waffle or RWM Waffle, what happens if it doesn't work? How badly would a failed BSC idea impact the game and design or release? Well, that's why we're doing it now. If we waited, say, 15 months and said, okay, guys, Magic System BSC in for the first time, yeah, that would be really bad, and that would really affect us. On the other hand, we try it early. Doesn't work? Okay. Not the end of the world. So it really kind of boils down to that. JK, will the system of judging try to help not discourage the folks who just want to get into a good fight? No, I don't think so at all. Hopefully the opposite. On RPG, will we have any say of choice in our progression or rewards, or are we straddled? I think you mean saddled with whatever we get. Don't know yet. The one thing I've told everyone from our Kickstarter is that we don't want this to be a token-based game. So certainly choice of rewards at a certain level is going to be up to the king. Can we get weekly live streams or YouTube videos with updates like the